on closer inspection, I'm starting to find reasons why this Altair is not fucking working. Okay, first thing. We have an IC here with a very bent pin. So that's why you go and reseat everything, because you can find shit like this. Item number 2. If you look at the CPU board, there is a very, very blown chip on here. Look at that. There's a big fucking hole in it. And that's not from me. It's not warm at all. It was already fucked up when I got it. So, yeah, I'm starting to find some interesting things on here. Shit. I'm gonna need to replace that chip. I'll probably have to buy a few of them. It's an S7519 and 1897B. I don't even know what the fuck that is. I gotta find some. I wonder what else is blown on this fucking thing. It's very interesting. It's not on the part that I repaired. If you look at this fucking thing, like the power, where the hell is the power coming on this fucking Altair? The power comes in from this end and it goes through all this shit. And for some reason it exploded over here. And that goes to the front panel here. I wonder if there's anything wrong with the front panel too. How did he explode this fucking thing? He must have done something wrong. Okay, so I've been playing with the Altair a little bit. I did a check on the power supply voltages. I figured that was a good idea because, you know, it's outlined in the assembly manual how to do some basic testing, and it gives you some of the pinouts of the S100 bus that the cards are all plugged into. So, I checked all the voltages. They're good. Everything is checking out perfectly fine with the power supply. It's not a power supply issue. The power supply is doing its job. But what I found on the Altair here, first of all, I'm going to show you something. I'm going to pull the CPU board out again. I hate taking that thing out. If you take the Altair and you just turn it on, you get these ones lit up. This is a good sign. I'm very happy we got something lighting up. That's wonderful. Okay, so that's good. We're slowly getting somewhere with this fucking thing. Now, the other thing that I've discovered is you plug this fucking CPU board in here. Now, you turn it on, none of the lights come on when you turn it on now. Now, we got a voltage regulator. I'm going to attach one of these to ground, which is pretty much anywhere on the case. And this is a voltage regulator here. It's supposed to be outputting 5 volts. So what we got coming into it is we have 10 volts coming in, and we have 0.9 volts coming out. Now, either that's going to be a short on the CPU board, or the voltage regulator is fucked. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that fucking voltage regulator, pull a pin off, and see if it's going to output 5 volts. Because if I pull that pin out and it outputs 5 volts, then the voltage regulator is fine and something else on the board is fucked. If it's not putting out 5 volts, then the voltage regulator is fucked. Actually, another thing I can do is just cut the fucking thing. Maybe I'll do that instead, and then if it's working, I'll solder it back together. If it's not working, then I'll replace it. I should have some kicking around somewhere. These Zener diodes are warm. They're getting 12 volts apparently, so that's good. So let's take this fucking voltage regulator, find my cutters. I don't know where the fuck I put them. I put them somewhere. Where the fuck are they? I can't find my cutters because they're over here. You take your cutters and just cut one of the pins of the voltage regulator so that it's not making any connection. I may have to bend that up a little bit just to make sure it's not making any connection. And God, my eyes are just not as good as they used to be, you know that? Don't ever turn 40 years old. Well, I'm not 40 yet. I will be in a few months though. Alright, we've cut that line of the voltage regulator. We're going to plug it back in and see if it's got anything on it now. Okay, we got power on the Altair? Yes, we do. Good. Let's plug it in. There we go. And turn it on. And now, where's my meter? Let's see what we got. Do we have any voltage on there? We should still have 10 volts coming in. Yes, we do. And we have, oh, fuck. We have 5 volts coming out of the regulator. So that means the regulator is working, but there's something there's something shorted and sucking down the power. Now what that is, I don't know. We have to find this out. Fun! So sometimes when I'm working on a project, I need to just get away for a while and think about, you know, what's going on with it, and possibly think of other ways to tackle things. So I did that, and I revisited the voltage regulator here, and I figured, oh well, if there's something shorted on this board that's causing it to like really suck down the 5 volts, I should be able to find that if I recut it and measure the current draw on it and see how much current it's actually drawing. So that's exactly what I did. So we got the multimeter here, and we've got it hooked up from the voltage regulator going to the 5 volt line. And here's what I found out. We turn on the Altair, and all it's sucking is 18 milliamps, and that's all it's sucking. So 18 milliamps is not a lot. That's hardly anything, and it's pulling down the 5 volt line to nothing. So that means that most likely the voltage regulator is fucked. So I gotta replace the damn thing. I tried looking in the garage for one, and I couldn't find one because everything's still in boxes and all over the damn place. So I should possibly try and go buy another one. But what I'm going to try next is the RAM board here has 4 of them on here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull the 5 volt line off of this, because the ground will be fine. It's the 5 volt line that's not working. We're going to pull the 5 volt line off of here and put it to the CPU board and see if that changes anything. I mean, worst comes to worst, I don't know, I'll blow something up on the CPU. We've already got one fucking blown chip, might as well blow up another one, right? Alright, so let's give that a try. Okay, so here's what I've done. I've taken 5 volts from the RAM board right here, and I've run it over to the 5 volt line on the CPU card. Now, we turn the Altair on, and guess what? I don't remember which switch I turned. There we go. We have a little bit of action on the front panel. Look at that. Something's going on. Now that's good. That's very, very good. Now that tells me that the 5 volt regulator is fucked on this one. I might have borked the other one too on the RAM card. I'm not sure, I might have. I'm going to pick up a few of them though, because I could always use some kicking around. So I'm going to go, I got to go into the city tomorrow anyway. I'm going to go pick up some 5 volt regulators, and we're going to stuff a couple in here. Okay, so here's how my Altair is doing so far. Let me pull the CPU board out. Yay. Alright, I gotta show you what I've done with it. So I replaced the voltage regulator. It powers up now. I'll show you that in a minute. So what I've had to do is I had to order one of these chips. Here, you take a look at this chip. You might be able to see that something's very wrong with it. It's been blown up. I had to check my pictures of the Altair. When I first got it, I didn't power it up. I just took a whole bunch of pictures of it before I did anything to it. So I looked back at my pictures, and yeah, you know, the previous owner had blown up this this chip here. So it's an isolation chip. It protects things from blowing up at the other end, and that's exactly what this chip kind of did. They blew up one side of it and it protected the rest of the board. So I had to order another one of these. These are N1897B chips. You can't buy them anymore. They're extinct. Well, you could probably buy one, but it will, you're going to pay out the nose for it if you want an original part. So I had to, I just opened this up, because this is probably what came in the mail here. I had to buy another part. I had to buy a identical part, more modern replacement part. So there it is. So I gotta put this thing in, and hopefully it works. Oh yeah, I was supposed to show you that this thing turns on now. So let's put the IC board back in. Plug this connector in. Turn the Altair around, and you flip it on, and yeah, it starts lighting up. There we go. You can do a hard reset on here, but there's still things that are not working quite right here. If I run absolutely nothing, I get these weird blinky lights and stuff like that. There's still some things that aren't working properly on this computer, but I'm gonna replace that isolation buffer chip. That might fix some of the problems I'm having here. These are like constantly lit up, and that's useless for reading anything from the addresses. So replacing that buffer chip, I think, will fix this part of it. So that's what I'm hoping for. And if it doesn't, then I gotta start looking at other things and see what else might be blown up in here. Okay, so we're going to be replacing the chip with a, let's see what this is that I ordered here. I don't even know what the part number is. At least not off the top of my head. So this is the chip that I ordered, in case you want to order one to fix your own Altair, in case you blew up your own isolation chip. You can order one. Replacing chips can be easy or a pain in the ass, so I'll show you my method with it. So what you do, cut all the legs off, just cut the whole fucking chip out. I cut most of these already because I was a little bit worried that they were sucking current. Doing this part is not so bad, even with needle nose. Just heat it up and grab it with the needle nose, and it should pull right out. Sometimes you can even just use a screwdriver. Just put it up against the soldering iron and it'll come right out. It's not hard stuff. And if one goes flying, just pick it up with your soldering iron and you can save it. Come on, you bitch. There we go. Easy. Bum, 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 bum. A little tougher because it's right by that transistor. Yes, that black thing is a transistor. That's what they look like way back in the 1975, I guess. There should be one in here, but I can't see it. Alright. Next step is to get rid of all the solder. So you flip your board over here, so you can suck all the solder off here. Yeah, and that lead is still in there, I think. Oh no, it came out this side. Sometimes that happens. Sure. I usually just resolder everything quickly here. Put some fresh solder on it because I didn't do this side. Alright, there we go. Solder. Again, I hate solder wick. Solder wick pisses me off. In my opinion, it's like the worst stuff ever. I don't know if you can see that on the camera. The heat's probably not going through as nicely on these particular pads. Yeah, and it's coming off now. There we go. Easy stuff. Yeah, that's what my job looks like. I mean, there's some black stuff on here, but I believe that's from when the chip exploded. All that black crap there, it's melted the silicon. Putting the new chip in. It'll go the same direction as all of these because it's the same shit. Usually, yeah, the chip legs are usually a little bit spread out. So what you do with that is you take it and you just kind of press it down on the table. There we go. Make it a little on the curved side. There. You can kind of see that. There we go. A little better. Yeah, I just benched the one side there. And then, yeah, for those who want to replace chips, there's a dot on it that marks pin 1 and a notch at one end. There we go. And the notch is marked out on the board, so in you go, in you go. There. Look at that. We got a chip on the board. Now usually when I solder chips, or solder anything for that fact, I'll just kind of tack on like a pin on each side, just so the chip stays in place while I'm soldering the rest of it. Just a little bit of solder on there, just to tack it on. Again, you're not going to wreck anything if you just do it very quickly. There we go. Perfect. Just tack right on. Oh, yeah. Good. So over here. And then I'll do the ones that I tacked on last. There we go. And I believe that looks good. That looks good. Yeah, that looks pretty awesome. And good job. Plug the board in. Plug that in. And turn the Altair around and see if it does anything different. Well. See if we can do a hard reset. Yeah. That's supposed to be a hard reset. I don't know if it's doing anything properly. Examine. 3. Now these are still lit up. Oh, somebody wants to come up and say hi. It's my cat, Jake. Hi, Jakey. Look at the camera. Yeah. Who's that? Is it all people watching? It is. So one thing about the Altair that I've noticed since I replaced that damn chip, you turn it on, you do a hard reset, this light's working. It wasn't working before, so I did fix something. So right on, we're one step closer to having a working Altair.